Yo, what's good, everybody? We are back, and it is week 16. Well, actually, it's week 17. I took week 16 off. Just it kept getting later on in the week. I was meant to film it, and then I just kept putting it off, and then now we're here, and it's Friday of week 17, and we're finally onto it. So this was meant to be number 17, episode 17, but it's actually episode 16 in reality. But anyway, welcome back to Progress Report, and I'm back. I'm your host. For those of you who don't know me, Nomad222, and this is where we follow the progress of my analytics as an artist, as an event producer. And yeah, if you haven't met me yet, I'm all of those things. I'm a creative. I make music, and we're tracking the progress of my album as we roll it out. And we've expanded it to just follow all of my analytics on Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and just try and keep track of the data and see how things are progressing on our way to being a full-time creative. And some other important things. Most importantly, I'm a father of four, and I'm from Naarm, in the western suburbs of Melbourne. So for those of you who have been keeping track of this whole thing, you guys will know that this is the final week of the album rollout for my album, the Nomadic Deluxe. Takeoff just dropped this morning at midnight. So if you haven't heard it yet, please go and check it out. It's produced by Dewan. It's definitely more of a up-tempo, just me trying to rap my ass off and try and, entertain you guys with bars as possible type of song. There's a music video for it on YouTube too, so make sure you go check that out. Directed by Dietrich Hettig, and it feels a bit weird. It feels so weird because I feel like we hit a stride during this journey, this 17-week journey. And there was a period of time there where I was feeling so into it and so down. And I don't want to say that like the end of this has me feeling like down or anything like that. But honestly, it's just life. It's just life. I mean, we started this in August, and then a lot of things has happened. It's now November. We're coming into that Christmas period, that holiday season, where people start to get a little bit crazy and money starts to get a little bit tight. And it's just life, man. And like I said, this whole thing, the reason why I'm doing this and the reason why I'm tracking this stuff is because I want to be a full-time creative. I want to be doing that full-time, and just thinking about how much time and effort has been put into it. And this has been a problem from the beginning, just, quelling my expectations and trying not to have any expectations with this shit. But man, I know with my potential that there's so much more I could be doing creatively. There's so much more music I could be creating. There's a whole bunch of music that I'm just sitting on right now that probably won't see the light of day for another couple of years, and is just continually being put off simply because life gets in the way. And I'm talking 9 to 5, I'm talking bills, I'm talking rent, I'm talking all of that shit. All that shit that just sucks the life out of a man. It's just weighing on me. And then on top of that, the fact that, Christmas is coming up. And I don't want to say that we're doing it hard. But we're doing it hard, man. It's tough right now, man. And honestly, it leaves me very unmotivated. I like to think that I'm the type of person that's, got the work ethic to be able to go to work and do what I need to do to keep a roof overhead, and then come back home and then do what I need to do to create and then work towards my dream. But the fact of the matter is, man, these 4 kids, there's only, it's not even the fact that they need me, or even, my partner for that matter, but it's also the fact that, I need them. When I'm in here, when I spend way too much time in here just doing what I need to do, even just making these videos, I'm thinking about the fact that my daughter's in there, with an iPad, and she's rehearsing for her Christmas, her school Christmas performance and stuff, and I'm missing out on that time, right? And it's not a matter of do I need to give up on music, but then it's more so that I can't shut up the voice in my head that's like, man, I should just be doing music. so that in place of this other shit that I'm doing that doesn't serve my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth, I should be doing that. And then I'll have more time to make up with be there for my kids and everything like that. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I'll get into that a little bit more later, since this is kind of like the last episode of this whole the album journey, right? But anyway, let me talk about the actual analytics and what's been happening. It's pretty positive. It's pretty positive at the moment, and I have to let's get back into perspective, is what I'm trying to say. So, for those of you who are new to the channel, new to this series, our goal for Spotify monthly listeners from the beginning has been 4 million monthly listeners, and that's a number that I've put a lot of research and study into. I've explained it before in past episodes, so make sure you go watch it. Well, 4 million monthly listeners, and we started with 51 monthly listeners. Not 51,000, not 51 million, just 51 monthly listeners, right? And in week 14, we hit our highest spike of monthly listeners when we hit 1,015. We are currently at 809 monthly listeners. So we've had a bit of a dip. I guess the last two tracks before Takeoff, maybe weren't hitting as much, but it is what it is. It's not always going to be a consistent metric when you have those listeners. People are going to fall off. People are going to go through their own things. But at least that's what I'm trying to tell myself during that when I see that figure. But the total streams that we have currently is 14,779, and I know the past couple of weeks I wasn't able to find that total figure, but we figured it out, and I've luckily got the power of ChatGPT behind me. Shout out to ChatGPT, not sponsored or anything, maybe we should be, but fortunately we've got this technology where I can figure that stuff out, put a little bit of time into it, and we do it like that. Monthly listeners, the last video I did, we were at 212 monthly listeners. Now we're at 209. So a couple of people have Spotify followers. We had 212 followers. That was the most that we've had during this entire period. And now we're at 209. Sorry, I can't speak today for some reason. Come on, guys. What's happening? We lost 3 people. I feel like hitting the follow button is something easy to do. Hitting the unfollow button, that's like intentional. So whatever that is, I'm not sure, but that's all good. Anyway, Spotify playlist ads. Last time we spoke, we were at 838 playlist ads, and now we're at 893. So that's more people adding the music to their playlist. So thank you to everyone there. Shifting gears to another music platform, Apple Music. Our monthly listeners, this is the highest monthly listener rate that we've had during this entire period. We were at 2 monthly listeners, and now we're at 4 monthly listeners. So shout out to the 4 people using Apple Music, iOS compadres right there. So shout out to you guys. Apple Music total streams, we were at 7,982. Now we're at 8,067. Again, thank you to the 4 people on there. Now let's get into the social medias, the apps and everything like that. Instagram followers. Again, you guys know we've been having trouble with this. We started at 4,111 followers, and then we had that whole, culling of people that don't actually fuck with what we're building, and as well as sorting through bots and getting rid of accounts that were inactive and not really, engaging with our content. And so we dropped down. I think our lowest was 4,031 followers. Again, still in that 4,000 range. We're never going below 4,000, touch wood. But that's great. But we're back up to 4,093, and we're getting closer and closer to getting above that figure again. So that's cool. That's amazing. TikTok followers, we went from 5,395 last week, where we experienced our first loss of a follower. But now we're at 5,416 because some of the engagement on TikTok has been popping off lately. So thank you to everyone who's jumped on board and joined the journey now. It's been incredible to just, read your comments and just have these new perspectives, because I feel like I've had the same people, commenting and, throwing up the flames, throwing up the 100s, throwing up the hand emojis and all of that. And that's cool. I appreciate all that love and support from everyone who's been on the journey for a long time now. But to get some new eyes and new ears on the product that we're putting out and everything that we're pushing, it's been very refreshing. So thank you guys for engaging with it. YouTube subscribers. So you know that in week 15 we hit our target of getting over 500 for the first time. We had 501 subscribers, and that was great. I'm happy to say that in 2 weeks, we're in week 17 now, we've hit 524 subscribers on YouTube. That's crazy to me. It's crazy, and a big part of that has to go to YouTube Shorts. Our YouTube Shorts have been popping off for whatever reason. It's the same style of content that we've been putting out this entire time, but I guess the music's a bit different. People were really messing with testing on YouTube. The algorithm was really messing with testing on YouTube. So shout out to YouTube. 524 subscribers. Our next goal is 1,000, clearly, right? So we've hit 500. Let's get to 1,000 now. And, our eventual dream is the big play button, right? So we're on the way. We're on the way. Let's talk about engagement rates. So I've got ChatGPT helping me with the engagement rates so that we can talk about whether or not we're hitting the average engagement rate that we want to, so that we're on track with other similar creatives and shit like that, right? So on Instagram, we hit 3.6% on engagement rate, which is, I believe, the highest engagement rate that we've had during this entire time, 17 weeks. And compared to the average, we're within the average range, right? So our engagement rate is solidly average. And what we need to do to improve is focus on more interactive content and leveraging trending formats. So that just has to do with the fact that all the content we've been putting out in the past 17 weeks has just mainly been me lip syncing, doing lip syncing with captions and people reading the lyrics, different settings and things like that. Very basic content, and we've been talking about this the entire rollout, right? The content has been very basic. So if we start to leverage, the sounds that are trending, and start to do some more stuff like that, that's a little bit more engaging, or maybe do more interactive content like open verse challenges and things like that, it's something to look at for next year, I guess. But we're still within the average range for what we're doing there, which is good to know, because that sort of stuff is easy to create. And it'll be good if I can create a bulk of content and then roll it out next year and just have a buffer just in case there's valleys like I've been going through the past week, right? Where I don't have the motivation, but I can schedule some posts and put it out so that we have something there as a safety buffer, right? But that's cool. That's Instagram. We're in the average range. TikTok, we are at 5.87, which isn't the highest engagement rate that we've had. The highest was 6.28 in week 12, but 5.87 is still decent. We're hitting the lower end of the average range, just the medium, but we kind of need to get to above 6% again, which, we've only hit that once. Let's be real, which is crazy to think about, because we've still been experiencing steady growth on TikTok. People are still following us every week, excluding last week where we lost one follower. Thanks again to that person. But we're still on an uptrend on TikTok. So if we can get to above 6% and get above that average range, then that'd be great. Again, we're not out of the average range. We're just hitting the lower end of it, right? So we need to get back to above and hopefully to beyond. And then on YouTube, we're in the average range. YouTube is obviously a little bit harder, but for YouTube standards, we're right on track, and it's getting close to the lower end, but we're still kind of in the middle. The tips that ChatGPT has is that we need to engage, have more active calls to action, or shareable content that could boost this. I mean, at the moment, I'm doing that whole thing on YouTube where I post a short and then I link that short to a longer form video like this, or the lyric videos, or the visualizers and things like that. And that's been doing all right. You know, the average amount of views per week on a visualizer is like, you know, 10 to 20, and the same with the lyric videos too. It just varies between each track, obviously, because of people's tastes. But some more of that, and I guess just flooding the YouTube channel with more content is going to help and be more beneficial in the long run. So looking to next year, thinking about what we can do next year to, you know, amp that up and have it be a little bit stronger is probably the best way to go. But that's it. That's it for the analytics this week, man. Whew. Week 17. I guess this isn't really the last week of this whole thing. Next week is, after we see how, you know, Takeoff is done with the entire thing and everything like that. But for those of you who've been rocking with me this entire time, who have been watching these videos in particular, because let's be real, I don't have the biggest draw to get people from my Instagram account to come over to YouTube and watch these long form videos. And all of these videos in this series have been over 10 minutes long, you know, extra long. I'm just talking, I'm waffling on about stats and numbers and all of that. It's not really entertaining. But if you guys are watching it, and, you know, the handful of you that are watching it all the way through and finding some value from it, or even just finding some entertainment value from it, to, you know, keep coming back and just seeing how we're doing and feeling like you're a part of it. I really hope that you do feel like you're a part of it, because you are. I mean, I don't just sit here in front of the camera and make these videos for myself. As soon as it goes up on YouTube, I'll probably watch it over once just to make sure that it came out exactly how I wanted it to come out. But then I'm not watching it at all again. I mean, maybe later on down the track when I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll probably come back to these and watch it for my own benefit. But really, it's because I'm able to see that people are watching it. And here, when I go out about my daily life, I'll run into some of you guys and you'll bring it up, or maybe you'll call me or talk to me about something like that. I've had Uncle Rob hit me up a couple of times. I've had Brooklyn hit me up a couple of times. I've had people at shows, you know, my peers and things like that, bring up things that I talked about in these videos, and that just lets me know in real time that these videos have some sort of benefit to the community. So I'm hoping that I can continue to do this once the album's done. But the thing about why I even started this was because of how much this album means to me, you know. And this is an album that I took off the DSPs when I rebranded to Nomad222. You know, I put this album out 2 to 3 years ago. You know, time moves quick, but I put it out originally under Nomad, and it fell under the radar. And I've talked about this before, but it fell under the radar. It didn't get the traction that I wanted it to, and I took accountability for that for myself. I struggled with that for a little bit. I felt like, oh man, people are sleeping on me. People don't fuck with real rap. People don't fuck with lyricism. They don't see it. They just want this. They just want that. They just want guns. They just want bitches and hoes. They just want all of that typical shit, that negative stereotype hip hop. Like I thought it was a problem with hip hop, but I had to go through some growth to take accountability for myself and understand that I didn't put my best foot forward in getting this stuff out there. And I also had unrealistic expectations for what the album was going to do to me. And that's an issue that I've had my entire journey, my entire 10-year journey. I came into this game thinking that, you know, 50 Cent was the blueprint for me. 50 Cent, who grew up in Queens, New York, in the street life, you know, sold drugs and guns and all that stuff. Real New York gangster, got shot 9 times. I thought that he was the blueprint for me. Kid that, you know, went to high school in the western suburbs and had 2 parents that loved me and cared for me and worked hard for me and you know, never done anything illegal in my life. And, you know, I thought that 50 Cent was the blueprint, and I was just gonna make a mixtape. Dr. Dre was gonna discover it, and then I was gonna be, you know, upside down doing sit-ups in a video with Eminem, and, and it was just gonna be that crazy thing. But it wasn't like that. You know, my mixtape dropped, and I did the same sort of like weekly format where songs were coming out every Friday, and people slept on it, but they didn't really sleep on it. I just didn't know how to put my best foot forward from a marketing perspective, and how to leverage the technology that we have today to get it in front of the right people to listen to it. Again, the quality disparity between that first mixtape and the Nomadic is way different, and I'm trying to erase it from history completely, except when I talk about it and trash it. But I believe in this album so much, and that's why I wanted to put it back out, because it means so much to me from a personal level. I get to talk about things that I haven't heard talked about in a long time, or I feel like is in short supply in hip hop. You know, talking about men's mental health and how men are able to have conversations, and talking about fatherhood, talking about being a good partner, and what it's like to struggle with the things that I've struggled through, and talk about death and mourning and what it means to mourn someone. And just you know, it's 17 songs, as well as a bunch of different poems and skits and things like that, worth of knowledge. And I feel like this project fully encapsulates everything that makes me who I am, and that's why I needed to put it back out. It's so integral to me as an artist and a human being that how could I not have it back out? And how can I not put my best foot forward and try and get this project into as many ears as possible? And I've matured so much over my time in the game to understand that music is timeless. It truly is timeless. So even if these 17 weeks of fully pushing this project didn't get it across your radar, the rest of my life is going to be dedicated to pushing this project. I'm never going to stop pushing this project from this day forward. It's always going to be something that I'm going to try and get to the right people, because there's 4 billion, I don't know, 8 billion people on this earth. I've probably only met 1 million people in my entire life, and I've probably only reached a quarter of that too on social media. I don't know, but I've got the rest of my life to try and reach all these 8 million people with my music. And I'm going to keep putting out new music, and I'm going to keep promoting every single song that I've ever made and that I'm proud of. And we'll just see what happens. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to end this video here. Please make sure you check out Takeoff. Listen to the whole album in its entirety, and the album is still up for sale on even.biz. So if you guys want to support me and, you know, throw some cash our way, just so that we can continue to grow this, and I can start paying people for beats and paying people for mixing and mastering and all that stuff, that would really help and go a long way to help get this new batch of music sounding as high quality as possible. But no pressure to do that either. Even if you just want to stream and help get these streaming numbers up, so that we can earn royalties that way. We're just trying to make this a sustainable practice so that we can continue to make music on a bigger scale. Because right now, you know, it takes a long time to get one song done. But me, when I'm in the studio and I'm doing what I love, I can turn things around very quickly. I've got one of the highest work rates when it comes to creating music in history, and I'm not even joking when I say that. I just need the resources and the time and the sustainability to be able to do that. But we'll get there. No pressure on you guys. Just keep supporting me however you can, whatever capacity you can show up. That's how we're going to build this community, and that's how we're going to do this thing and take it to the moon, right? What else? Subscribe to the channel. 524 subscribers. We're going to 1,000 next. That's our next milestone. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Nomad_WM. Follow me on Spotify. Listen to me on Apple Music if you're an iOS user. What else? I think that's it. But yeah, leave a comment below if you watch this. I want you to comment G7X if you watch this in full, if you watch this entire video. Otherwise, please remember, it's all love. Thank you so much for watching, and together we move.